Welcome to this edition of the Wonderbury podcast.
I'm Brian,
I'm Dave.
and you can find us online at Wonderbury.com.
And I am D. Wonderly, though rarely posting, on Twitter.
And I'm Brian Keysbury, that rarely posts anywhere on the internet that I could be found.
You can find us online at Wonderbury.com. And I'm sure I just screwed that all up.
I just said that.
Yep.
But
you can leave us comments at Wonderbury.com.
Yes, I did do that. One of the things I did remembered to do.
You can check for the links in the description.
You could,
Man, I am all out of sorts today. Holy cow.
You could use our subreddit.
You can use our subreddit.
Yeah.
You can use Facebook.
Heck, you can post anything in the subreddit. I don't know if we'd notice.
I'd notice. I have an alert set up.
I was gonna say I did do a post on Reddit this morning.
Yeah,
posted in the Grand Rapids subreddit about my stolen bike.
Oh yeah.
So if you're in Grand Rapids and you see a yellow puffy fat tire bike, let me know.
That's unfortunate, man.
Some people just suck. So
yeah. No, that they do.
Yeah. But and what really sucks is we had 2 bikes stolen at the Edgewater house. And then I the first winter we were here, we had a bike stolen here. And then my awesome bike that I finally got, my big fat tire bike. So,
and that's the one that just got stolen?
Yep.
Oh man.
So,
sorry to hear that.
Happens.
Yeah.
It just adds to the fiasco of life.
Oh yeah. No, and that's kind of the way life is that
Yep.
Sometimes you get what you get, and sometimes it sucks, and sometimes it's awesome. Although you did get a new package at work today.
Yeah, did get a new Asus Republic of Gaming Strix or something. I don't know. Pretty baller gaming laptop.
Nice.
Because gaming specs and video editing specs are generally the same thing, and nobody has like, oh, this is a video editing laptop. Everything's focused towards gaming.
Yeah, but with a decent gaming laptop, you're gonna get a great video editing laptop.
Yep, that's what I figure.
And speaking of video editing, I just kind of switched gears on mine, so I'm now relearning a new system. However, I was able to get the Adobe Suite, so
sweet.
I'm finally on industry standards, and I got Premiere, and holy cow, is it make my work so much easier at times.
Nice.
Like when I was doing editing in Resolve. Now, don't get me wrong, Resolve is gorgeous. If you cannot afford Adobe stuff and Premiere, check out Resolve. I can't say enough good things. For a free program, it is absolutely amazing. The problem is that with Premiere being the industry standard, you get all tutorials are written for Premiere.
Yep.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing. But the problem that crops up with it is that it, how shall we say, you have to go back through and translate on the fly tutorials for stuff. And it makes it that much a little more problems. Premiere just does a few other things a lot better. For one, they automatically inject all the metadata now for 360 videos. So I don't have to go through an extra process. They allow for really good, they have like what they call a VR viewer. So you can automatically toggle in, and as you're on the fly editing, you can figure out what things will look like in 3D as you're editing, and if you're doing keystroking or whatever you're doing. So for the 360 stuff, they've got a lot of stuff baked directly in, which has been a lot of fun to play with, and I've been doing a lot of playing around with 360 stuff.
Yeah, nice.
So it should work. We'll have to see how it works for everything else, but I think that I'm getting over the initial learning curve of switching from one medium to the other. The big one that I haven't started playing around with yet is Photoshop, going from GIMP to Photoshop. I know I'm going to love it, but it's still going to be another learning curve.
It's
like
amazing.
Everything else.
It's a lot more intuitive than what you think, especially knowing GIMP. Some of the tools are the same. There's a lot more tools.
Yeah, that's what I kind of figured.
One of my favorite ones in actual Photoshop is called Puppet Warp. Do you remember me? Do you remember I made a meme of Kyle and I put his face on Quagmire's face, and then had it perfectly stretched, like so everything was lined up and it was perfect. Yeah, Puppet Warp tool did that.
Oh, I wonder. I got some ideas for that then. But yeah, no. So I've been playing around a lot with the Adobe Suite, which has been a lot of fun. Back in the day when I had access to it, and this would have been like in the late 90s, possibly. I had gotten really good with the Flash animation program that they had, the Flash Animator Professional or whatever, for animating stuff. They've kind of packaged it and redone it now, and animate. I'm going to start playing around with that again and see if I can't maybe get some fun animated stuff going, which would be kind of cool.
Cool. Maybe you can find a way to fix our intro graphics.
Our intro graphics are between either animating something or After Effects. I'm definitely going to do some intro stuff.
Well, so I mean,
keep your eyes out for that.
The beam and the teleporter graphics.
Oh yeah, I could do that. I could probably do something in After Effects for that too.
Yeah. I was gonna say if you get that curved text finished up for me, I can.
I was doing that, and then I'm gonna do it again in Illustrator.
Okay.
Illustrator is one of the biggest things that I'm looking forward to playing with, mostly because I like playing with vector graphics a lot more than anything else. I focused on learning Inkscape over GIMP for any graphics design and manipulation, just because I think vectors are so much more usable.
Yeah.
And you can export them as a PNG, so why not? So yeah, I've got an idea how to do that, and if I can't figure it out in Illustrator this weekend, then I'll throw back on Inkscape for a minute and just kick it out real fast.
Cool. Yeah, I can get that printed and then record some intro.
Yeah. Record some stuff and then throw it my way, and I can After Effects it, and we'll get a real cool intro.
Yeah. Have to add that pew pew effect in the After Effects.
Yeah. So I know we've talked about it before, but you've pretty much switched all the way over to streaming platforms, haven't you? For all your entertainment stuff?
Yeah, years ago.
That's what I had thought.
I haven't had.
Mom just ordered Sling.
Nice.
So I've been able to utilize Sling TV, and I actually really like it. I've been kind of surprised at how much I like it.
Cool. That's one I haven't played with. We have Amazon Prime,
Yep.
Netflix.
Yep.
I have a few things in Vudu, and then they also have videos you can watch for free with ads in it. Same
Oh,
with
Voodoo
Crack.
does?
Yeah,
Did
not a
not
whole
know
lot of
that.
stuff, but some pretty decent things. Crackle. Um,
Yeah.
they don't usually have a whole lot of like top quality stuff on there, but some of the stuff they do have is pretty amazing. Especially,
Wasn't Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee on Crackle?
yep, that was one of their originals. They worked with Seinfeld on that.
Oh, that was so funny. I
That was
absolutely
great.
loved that show.
Yeah,
I think
it
my
makes
favorite, still to this day, my favorite episode is President Obama.
yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome. The Chris Rock one where they got pulled over. That was hilarious. And Chris Rock just shuts up. He's like, I told you. I told you.
So, how do you feel about stuff like that? So we've gone through, which is pretty much the streaming of traditional media.
Yeah.
How do you think that compares to stuff like Vimeo or YouTube? Are they competing with each other, do you think, or are they just kind of
Not yet. Um, and YouTube wants to compete, but they don't have the quality of content available to
yeah.
stream. They're
Red
technically on the
there's
back end. Google Play Movies is part of YouTube, so
right.
but you can't. You don't have a subscription service for that. You outright buy the movies.
Yeah, I think that I think they're trying to play in the same space but have a different focus. Like even YouTube Red, it seems like with the exception of Google Play Movies having the same back end as YouTube and being able to kind of access your Play Movie stuff in YouTube itself, it seems that the power behind YouTube is that it's creator content
Yeah,
versus
any
like a traditional media. And even though some of the stuff is shot and recorded, like Maker Studios does a lot of good stuff,
yeah,
and I guess some of these lines are starting to get blurred because you have like Epic Rap Battles is one of my favorite, channels.
yeah.
The Epic Rap Battles of History, and they're awesome, but they're technically owned and run by Disney.
The same
So
with Crash Course or Sideshow. So a lot of the Green Brothers,
yeah,
their stuff is PBS funded.
yeah.
So it's part of the PBS network.
And see, there's other groups that I remember that predate YouTube by quite a large margin that I was watching their streaming content off. Rooster Teeth stuff
Yeah,
back with Red versus Blue and stuff like that. I remember watching their content. I mean, hell, Red versus Blue kept me sane in some of my darker points in the military when I was
yeah.
deployed.
The Young Turks is another one. They've been around, I want to say 15 years or so. And
Yeah,
then once they got rolling on YouTube, they went full YouTube and everything's, for stuff
yeah,
like that, I can see YouTube as the place because it makes it easy for like a new studio like that
yeah,
to upload their whole show, and have it
yeah.
split in how they want, and then get funded by the viewers. That's so
Either
it's
through
like,
Patreon or other advertisement,
yeah,
which it's starting to get kind of ridiculous. Some of these advertisers,
yeah,
or I should say, some of the ad stuff, it's getting worse than commercials.
yeah.
Like, you hear a lot of people talk about how they got off, when we got sick and tired of the commercials, and so we went to the internet. The
The
commercials,
commercials are worse.
it's the ads online, I think, is the future of commercials in a way. I mean, it's where it's going, it's how it's kind of branched.
Yeah.
And even then you have to watch some of these websites because you'll have sponsored articles. And they don't really make it clear that if it's a sponsored article or not. Some places do. They make it extraordinarily clear.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. I
Yep.
don't mind sponsored articles as long as it's very clear that it's a sponsored article.
Yeah, and that's how when you and I were discussing ways to monetize our show, and like, we discussed having a sponsor, but I was like, no, we could do a sponsored episode and do it,
Yeah,
for a show,
no,
and then
there are ways to do sponsorships right, though.
Yeah,
and I think having a little blurb at the beginning of saying this episode is sponsored by so and so, and then like halfway through the episode, just want to remind you this episode is brought to you by, read a little blurb, and then move on with the episode.
Yeah,
That's not a really bad way of doing an ad read in the middle of an episode.
Or, if we get sponsored by Dr. Pepper for an episode, and we say right up front, hey, this episode is brought to you by Dr. Pepper. But then I would, clearly be drinking a Dr. Pepper through the whole episode. But I do that anyway, so it's hard to tell. Are we really sponsored by Dr. Pepper?
Yeah. And I would like to say no,
wallet,
not yet. And I will become a big fan of Dr. Pepper if Dr. Pepper wishes to sponsor us.
You could probably drink 7-Up.
Mike's Hard Lemonade.
Oh. I don't have an actual Dr. Pepper today. I mean,
I just held up the Mike's. It's awesome. But no, I think that the future of commercials is going to become, I think, a lot more of that seamless, or it's going to look a lot more like ads.
Yep.
And then you're going to get ad clickbait, and then it's going to be just this mountain of, what the hell am I reading? Is it worth reading? And as much as I'd like to make money from this, and I think that we will end up making money from this someday, or off this channel somewhere, I'm very leery of the current generation of ads and commercials.
Yeah, and that's why I love Patreon. Now, Patreon started as
didn't the Green Brothers help start that?
Yeah, they started it. It was called something else when they started it. Subbable, I think. But so anyways, the idea behind it is the viewers fund the show. So you should have less ad content. Yeah. And be able to help what you can for the creators that you like. Like if you say one of our viewers, which we have a Patreon, so feel free, check it out. There's a lot of other really good quality shows. There's also some really not quality shows on there, but it's part of it's a open and user facing thing. But so patreon.com/Wonderbury, and you can see there's different tiers of what you can pay. And how we work. If somebody were like, well, I can afford like $2.50. Well, we don't have a tier for that. But you know what? If somebody said that and they wanted to do that, we could create a tier for that and give them, we could set up a special reward, and that's their tier.
Yeah, just drop us a line. We'll be more than happy to work with you guys with that.
Yeah, and it's really neat how Patreon works, because you can set it up so you can either get paid per episode, or you can get paid in a monthly group. So if like SciShow, they put out a video every day. So if they can have it set up so they do the charging on that per episode, and then every time an episode posts, it charges you $1. And then at the end of the month, that's $30 you've paid to them for a month's worth of content. Or
Yeah.
you could pay $1 a month, and I think that option needs to be like a subscriber facing option. So like, if I were paying SciShow, I could have the option of saying, okay, I want to give $1 per episode, or I want to give $1 per month. But I'm not gonna split hairs about that. But it's a pretty awesome service, and I see that helping draw away from ridiculous ad content.
I think as we're going to see a changing future of ad content. I think that the current generation of the way ads are done is starting to piss more people off than actually help.
Yeah. Well,
and I think that someone somewhere, and most likely it will be Google because that is their bread and butter, are going to completely change the way ads are sent and received.
Yeah. So
and
they had a.
I think it needs to happen, and it is slowly happening.
Yeah. So they have, with YouTube Red, you pay. What's the base price for just a single person? $9.99.
I don't remember. I'll look it up while you're doing that.
Anyways, the most expensive it would be, and that would be for up to 6 people, is $14.99 a month. So you pay for that. You get extra content that you can't get in YouTube. You also never see an ad again, which I didn't realize how nice that was going to be, or how nice it was, until I used somebody else's YouTube and was like, what is this? Isn't a video I searched for. And it took my brain a minute to realize, like, oh, I'm actually seeing an ad. I forgot they did this. You get that, and you get Google Play Music all grouped into one. So you get streaming music, ad-free YouTube, and extra YouTube content. Which, granted, there isn't a whole lot of stuff. What's on there is pretty decent. Scared Beauty Pie was pretty funny. What else did I watch?
I don't know. To me, Laser Team was worth it. But once again, I'm a big fan of Rooster Teeth, so shocker there. I know.
Yeah.
It's $10 a month.
Okay. $9.99.
I found a thing
$10 a month. That's good enough.
Because I'd have to sign out to look at it in my other, and I didn't want to do that, so I found right around $10 a month.
Yeah,
it's probably $9.99 or some weird thing that way, but so it's it seems that it's changing, and I like the idea of doing it that way. I've also noticed that YouTube especially is making the click ad revenue a lot less worth it, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
It's harder to make money with, and I'm sure that's because of just all the garbage that was making millions.
Yeah, and how, it's really easy for somebody to record a show. Now, I'm guilty of the other end of this because I watch Ancient Aliens a lot.
Yeah.
No, I watch it on YouTube on channels that are clearly not the History Channel.
Yeah.
And clearly are not legitimate and clearly are doing as many things as they can to avoid the copyright detection things.
Box in box with like it slowed down 25% or whatever.
Oh, you watch too, huh?
So you I
So
I tend to fall asleep to documentaries.
that's what I do too.
And
Yep.
the only reason why I do it off of YouTube, I would do it off of any other medium if I could turn my phone screen off and still listen to it.
Yep.
YouTube Red allows YouTube to play in the background even if the screen is off.
See, and I
So
actually
if
have a
any other
Chromebook.
streaming service out there, any of them, any, were to employ that, I would switch to them in a heartbeat. But
Well,
as it stands, I have a pair of earbuds. I have my phone next to me. I plug it in. I throw one earbud in, and I fall asleep listening to some documentary.
Yeah. YouTube does win in the documentary category, though. Like above all other streaming services that I looked into.
Yeah. Oh, by
you
far.
You can literally find anything.
Unfortunately, half of it's probably like we were talking about, where it's just kind of it's illegal documentary stuff. But
yep.
It's still there. It's still available. You can still watch it.
Yep.
So it's, you know, it's one of those pitfalls, and we can talk more about pitfalls in another episode. Actually, you know what I think we should do is over the next couple weeks, kind of talk about streaming more in depth, but more of like the pitfalls, and then the one topic that everyone is sick and tired of hearing about, net neutrality. Because I think I know of a way.
The reason I have to pay $15 to have a modem shipped every month?
Yeah, right? Because I think I think there's a lot of misconceptions out there from a lot of people, either it being intentional on both sides.
Yeah.
And or just accidental, where people just literally do not understand. And I think you and I have the ability to be able to break that down.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's we'll talk about more of the dangers and the pitfalls of what more streaming and cutting the cord and switching to a lot of these. There's a lot of pitfalls that comes with it. You know, we like to look at all the nice things and all the great things, but I think there's enough pitfalls that are kind of borderline dangerous that we need to be careful of.
Yeah.
As we move forward in all this.
Here's one thing. I've never seen an episode of Game of Thrones. That sounds ridiculous, knowing how many people I've talked to that watch Game of Thrones. But it's not available on a streaming service. It is available. It's on Google Play. So
it's on HBO Go.
Buy the whole thing. Yeah, but I don't have an HBO account.
You can get an HBO streaming account.
How much is it?
I think it was $15 to add on to my Sling TV account.
Yeah, see, and I think it was about $15 to add on to my Amazon account. But and it's one show.
Yeah, granted, $15 a month.
I know it's everybody tells me it's extremely good, but I'm not at a point where I want to pay another $15. Like, I'm already struggling with CBS and wanting to pay $6 a month for a show I know I'm going to fanboy over.
Yeah, that's something we'll talk a lot more in depth. I got a whole subject of that I want to talk about next week as well. That's just
Yeah.
it's there are a lot of issues that are arising from this, and it's, you know, whether it's good, whether it's not, you know, it's getting to the point where cutting the cord does not mean that you're going to get cheaper service anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Easier. It
And
is
then,
easier to customize your service, but
yes,
you know, like I can pick and choose what I want. You know, if I wanted to watch Game of Thrones, and that's the only, like, or, you know, if it's like that, and I think Westworld is on HBO, right? Like HBO has some really good content.
No, they've got some really good content. They have some really good original content that they do.
Yeah.
It's,
so if you're,
it's not a ripoff to think $15 a month. However, that's one very small grain of sand in what it turns into a giant chunk of earth when, you know, everyone's is not, you know, CBS, $10 a month. Okay, CBS makes a lot of good content. They have a lot of good shows.
Yeah.
$10 a month isn't that much.
Yep.
But now when you start adding that with HBO, and you start adding those two with Netflix, and then if you add on Amazon, and you try to get a full range, you find yourself paying.
PBS blew my mind the other day. I tried to put PBS Kids, or maybe just a regular PBS app on the kids' TV, and I went to log in. It does give you some videos free. Their paid model is you make at least a, I want to say $20 a year donation to your local channel.
Oh, nice.
And then that opens your account to stream. And I was just really nice. I stopped and clapped at the TV like, hooray, guys. Hooray. Wow.
But yeah, we'll continue on the conversation of cord cutting, and we'll go into some of the dangers of it next week, because we are pretty much out of time this week.
Well, let's can I throw in a product recommendation? Gadget product recommendation? I have a Contigo, Contigo coffee cup travel mug.
Yeah.
It's got this really sweet locking lid. Contigo Auto Seal West Loop vacuum insulated stainless steel travel mug with easy clean lid. That's the name of this thing. So I've had this thing for a while, and it's actually my brother-in-law's that he left at my house. But and then I just confiscated it because we can figure out whose it was for like a month. But anyways, I can fill that thing with coffee, throw it in my backpack with my laptop, and it is never spilled ever.
Nice.
And I was just thinking about that. One of our faithful, pretty handsome listeners has asked about doing a gadget recommendation episode, and I just thought, well, maybe I will. I couldn't come up with enough gadgets to like fill a whole episode, and I was like, well, when I think of stuff, I'll just throw one in an episode. So there's a gadget recommendation for the week.
Awesome.
And actually, here, I'll shoot you a link so we remember to put a link in the description.
Sweet. But until next week, guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for the recommendation.
Thanks for streaming us.
And we'll see you guys next week. Yeah.